let's start this morning with a wonderful quote on team building. So today we all are here for team building. Talent win games, but teamwork and intelligence win championship. So first I want to introduce mytrustedtutor.com. Actually, it's a marketplace where private tutors, schools, teachers, and all kind of academicians and kind of educational programs who can help with school assignments. Actually, our mission is to make quality education available easily and affordable to all. Today, our guest speaker is Rahul Sir. Rahul Sir is a corporate dealer with and treasury advisor at HDFC Bank Limited. He is in banking experience for the last 10 years. He has extensive experience in sales and marketing, building a powerful team. Sir, now I would like to take you over. Sir, are you there?
Yeah, thanks, Radhika.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? So I see a rather small group here. So that's an advantage overall if you see, uh, so that we can get interactive more basically. Okay. So I'll start with my introduction. Basically, I'll just give a very brief background of myself and then we'll get on with the job of this session. All right. So basically, so about me, I started my career almost 12, 13 years back. I am a banker by profession, throughout a banker, no other field as such. But yes, in banking also, I dealt with a lot of different verticals. Right now, I'm in treasury for last 5, 6 years. All right. So it's quite mathematical and uh, analytic stuff and also. So this gives me a breather because here in banking we only get to interact with one-on-one people basically. Yes, I do give sessions in my own bank also for that matter, but then that is a different purview to altogether. This is more of an informal discussion platform wherein I think I can share my experience. The topic is not a topic which will go tangent to anybody. It is something which is these soft skills basically are embedded in everybody. For my own understanding, I mean, let me tell you that it is embedded in everybody's DNA basically. It is just a matter of fact that we have to explore that and we have to understand that so that tomorrow when any teamwork or we are thrown into a situation, an alien situation especially, then we don't get bogged down by the fact that whatever is thrown upon us. So the idea of this session is that only. And as I told you that this session will be mostly a live experience session. See, there were games and all that could have been very, very helpful when we were sitting, I mean, on the platform wherein we are physically present. But on a webinar, it becomes imperative that you all also share your experience, wherever you can raise your hand or you can just come on chat. I'll be on and off in the chat. Try to be as much as possible. All right, so that if anybody has any query or wants to share your views, please feel free. All right, because this is also a learning platform for me as well. Yes, I will be giving examples and overall the PPT is ready, so there will be a structured way how we go around. But then it is a common platform where it is a two-way process. All right. So can we start? I mean, if you are all okay with it. See, when I talk about the team building activity, so this is basically to understand. This session will be more of a understanding perspective that what are the stages in team building, one, and we will try to correlate it with live examples. Okay, so that will what it will give us is give us a background as to in what structure there is we are going basically. What is the flow? All right, and then with the live examples we can correlate and try to inculcate that in our own present life and in future, especially for most of you. What I understand, you are all from education background basically. Some are into corporate training, some are into mental conditioning, some are into live teaching, some are an aspiring teacher, all right. So it becomes very imperative that we as a whole, teaching as a whole, is an experience wherein you can impart your experience with your fellow, I mean, colleagues or fellow students only if you too work as a team. Because if suppose I keep on giving a monologue, for example, and I don't understand that whether, or I do not have the receptiveness to understand that whether you are understanding the whole matter or not, then it becomes very very monotonous for the class basically, all right, or the set of audience, I would say. Class would be more of a formal education, I would say more of a set of audience, and that goes true with any kind of speaking. Okay, so when I'm saying that this topic, when I talk about team building or what a team does, basically, it is intermingled actually with interpersonal skills, with leadership quality. So it is all intermingled. There is no watertight compartment where I can put that. Okay, this is only team building. This is only leadership. This is only a interpersonal or a how to break an ice kind of a situation. It is not that. So it's all very fungible kind of a thing. And in the process also, if you see, there are stages of team building. It is all fungible. It is not that the team building, once we go through the first, second, third, fourth stage, the first stage doesn't come in between. So it is not that way. All right. So absolutely. I mean, when we talk about team building, the first thing which comes to our mind, this session is a repeat basically. We did conduct this session last time. If anybody who has, I mean, joined that session, it will be kind of a repetitive. But yes, there will be few new examples I have poured in, so that should avoid the repetitiveness, right? So basically, I'll start with the same example because right now, if I go by the fact that it's been almost 4 months now and we are at home, the first team building activity which this whole pandemic has thrown upon is the fact that when on 22nd March the lockdown started, basically everybody came back to their own drawing boards, that how to go about it. You will not have the person who will wash your car. You will not have a maid. If you have a full-time maid in house, that's a different thing. Otherwise, you'll not have a visiting maid for sure, if, especially if you're living in a society. All right. So that is how, I mean, and then you have to build a team in a sense that your wife, your mother, your child, you, including you come together as a team and decide that what job roles you have to perform. Because till the time you have that job role figured out, it will be very difficult even for working from home. Because we had this notion of working from home of a very very easygoing thing, but as and when time passed, I mean 1 year, 1 month, or 15 days, people acknowledge the fact that working from home is more tedious than actually 9 to 6 job normally. Okay. So basically, me doing a mopping, for example, my wife doing the dusting, and my mom doing the I mean utensils. So these things, I mean, there has to be a phase wherein we have to sit down as a team, decide, okay, this is where we have to go, and then only you can achieve your target. Today, if I'm sitting in this room and talking to you people comfortably without my kid coming in between, because there is also a team working at the back end, all right. So somebody's taking care of the kids, somebody's taking care of the lunch what we are going to eat. So it is all intermingled. So what I mean to say, if I was alone for that matter, all right, or if any three or four of us would have been going in their own direction. Okay, I like cooking, so I'll only do cooking for that matter. And every three of us likes cooking, then it becomes a problematic thing. All right. Everybody wants to cook, nobody wants to wash the utensils. So that's where the problem is. That's where the team, you have to understand the dynamics of team building, so that in spite of you telling the team that you have to do this, then also there has to be a common understanding that, okay, the work has to be divided, or at least in a rotation basis. So that is how it goes with any group discussion also. If you see, I mean, any MBA, most of you must be having that experience of group discussion somewhere or the other, or you must be a moderator. Uh, Most of the time, what we see is that the whole group starts in a roaring fashion, and actually nobody tries to give chance to anybody. That's the scenario of a group discussion. That is because that group is actually only working as a group. It is not working as a team. It takes time. I'm not saying that they will not work as a team, but initially that is the thing. Okay. So this is how this team building, I mean, the stages what we will go further. All right, we will throw more light upon it. Now, when we talk about team building, I mean, before understanding the whole setup and whole, I mean, phases, it's very important to understand what has team building done to overall society. See, there are n number of examples. You can also quote examples. I'm just picking those examples which actually I can relate to, or maybe I'm more comfortable with. Maybe I've read because of that. Because so those examples will be more of that. So I mean, Henry Ford, for that matter. I mean, just to tell you a background, there was a time when a car making process used to take almost a quarter of a day. One car, okay. I mean, I'm not talking about the painting and all. Assembling a car, and then came assembly line in 1913. Okay, now that changed the whole dynamics. It brought a whole paradigm shift to it. Yes, they were working as a team earlier also. They were working in groups basically. All right, but the moment assembly line came in, all right, and it became a rage. Let me tell you, I mean, if you have time in the weekend, just go ahead, and I will be giving you certain examples or snippets wherein you can go yourself and just check it out when you have free time, because it will be very interesting. It is not nothing uh, fiction. It is all non-fiction thing. Exact reality. Basically, you can go there and read. So when I'm talking about assembly line, it started in 1913, and then it, I mean, came to the peak and in 1920s basically, which was the roaring 20s. Okay, so that was the time when I mean, this whole assembly line came into its own. Okay, if somebody just put yourself in mute and just a second. Yeah, thank you. Just keep yourself in mute. If you want to say something, please. Okay. So the idea is that team in car making, it brought about a change which changed the whole scenario. I mean, structure of car making, the whole thing. I mean, from 12 hours, it brought down it brought down the timing to almost 30 minutes of assembling a car. So that is the essence of teamwork basically in a structured manner. All right, so that is one. So now, I mean, whenever we why a team basically when we go about a team building thing, when we sit, the first thing which comes to the mind, that why do we have to build a team basically? Most of the time the answer is because we are supposed to do that. All right, because say for example, you cannot choose your own teachers, you cannot choose your own parents, right? You cannot choose your own boss. So most of the things are not voluntary. If today I'm going on a trek, for that matter, it is all voluntary things. But in that also, if I go on a trek with a group, for that matter, let's for example India Hikes or Trek Veda or whatsoever, then what happens? I am going as an individual, but then I'm thrown into a group which is there, and you don't know anybody. So that's where the challenge starts. But there's one plus point in that, because we are all same, I mean, having the same wavelength and coming together for a joint purpose, so it becomes that more easy. Just think about the fact that especially a group of students where you are going to impart the knowledge. All right, right now what we are having a session is a more informal kind of a session wherein everybody has voluntarily come up and shown interest. It is not somebody forcing upon you, but as a teacher, I'm sure, and as an educationist, you must have felt, because I have felt that when I I had given guest lectures in MBAs or BBA colleges and all. So there, when you go inside the class and there is 30-40 people there, okay, students there, and then say 10% of them is very much interested to understand what you want to say or what experiences you have. The rest are not interested. That is because they are thinking that they are there as a group, basically not as a team, because they are just saying that, okay, we have to be there. That is why I'm there. And that is why it is our responsibility, whosoever is the moderator or whosoever is the trainer, basically, is their responsibility to show them a path, show them a way, and give them a reason. All right. So that they have a reason, they have an objective. The moment the whole class understands that there is an objective, it will be that much easier for the whole class to gel together and perform a group task, or the knowledge what you want to say, or the experiences what you want to throw. I mean, they can understand that. Okay. And that's what I mean. It's just a repetition of what I just said. Define rules and respond. That will come the moment you understand your objectives. These all things follow suit. All right. Now coming to this team building stages. That's what I told you, that this may be a bit theoretical. It is not. I'll try to make it as correlated with the examples as possible. So there are 4 stages of team building, and this goes with any team building when I'm telling. And don't we have a myopic view of understanding what is a team basically. When I say a myopic view, that we think that the team is working only for a corporate, team is working only for playing games, for that matter. A team is only working for say when you're doing a task to the. It is not that way. Even when say I first met my friends when I started studying in my college. It was a team. When I went into a hostel and I saw say 2-3 people out there, there was some ragging, some not, right? So all those period, it is all team building process. It's basically all this forming, storming, norming, performing, these things do occur. It is only that now I have gone through it, somebody imparted the knowledge to me, and then I explored it. So now we can understand that, okay, these are the terms what we are using. Otherwise, it is quite natural that we have been doing this for ages, basically. Even in a nursery, when you go or your kid goes, he's trying to build a team. He's trying to build a friend. It starts with one friend, and then after that, it builds to a team of 3 to 4 friends. So that is how it is. So just to rephrase, I mean, what is forming basically? Forming is basically coming together. All right. So when I say coming together for a basic task or a problem or a mission, whatever it is you call. So for example, I'll take example of Red Cross for that matter, right? So how does a Red Cross function, right? Red Cross function mostly through volunteers. Okay, so the volunteers are coming from around the world to say for a Haiti, I mean earthquake. What happens then? So basically, they are coming together in a center, say London. All right. From there, they are going to go to the destination to solve the problem or to facilitate the logistics and all, and medical aid. So this is where, I mean, the forming stage is where every participant is coming voluntarily. All right, together on that particular platform, coming together, agreeing upon a common goal. For that matter, the common goal is to give support those people who are there suffering. All right. They are also determining the challenges, basically, that what challenges can be there. There may be aftershocks. Are they prepared? There may be say, for example, logistic issue where they cannot reach, for that matter. All right. So these are the things, the challenges they have to understand. So basically, you are jotting down your uh, challenges at one page, and then you are trying to figure out how you will do the things. And then in that time, you also figure out that, okay, if you have say 10-member team, then you also try to figure out, okay, this person, because when you interact with one another, you understand the traits of people. There will be some people who will be not showing that much interest. Even though he is very interested, he may not be very vocal about it. He may be very laid back, and that is quite natural. And if you see that, and there will be 50% of the people who will be very less proactive. Proactive in a sense that they are reluctant. They are reluctant to say anything. Okay. Now that is quite natural. There will be a couple of people who will be basically very forthcoming and giving guidance to the whole team. So that is good. So these are the part of the team. I mean, when we are forming a team, these things, these individuals will come along. Okay. Storming is a very interesting phase basically. If you see, everything is hunky-dory when we meet together the first time. Okay. It is only after the initial zest and initial excitement dies down that you understand that there is a task, and then the conflict comes into play. And when I say conflicts are not bad at all. Till the time it is not a Galwan conflict, but it is not bad at all. Because when you have individual conflicts, you bring about your own perspective to the table. And you also have to see the other person's perspective. That is where the team realizes that the example which I took right at the beginning, that three cooks in one house, everybody wants to cook, what will happen? And I don't want to do the utensil for that matter. So what will happen? Somebody has to compromise, somebody have to partially compromise, and somebody will take the cheese. So that is how it happens. And we have to accept that fact. If everybody in the team thinks that they will be the engine or they will be the leader, it will not happen. That is not how a team is built ever. So person has to understand that the team will have leaders, team will have conflicts, there will be attitude issues, but then the idea is how to get over it. So the storming phase is basically where you can see that the team is disintegrating, but it is not. If you have seen the movie Chak De, it is a very common example, but it brings about a very good valid point that there was a time when the team was almost disintegrated, gone to some pizza joint or I don't remember correctly, or a burger joint, and then they had a fight, all right, and then they almost disintegrated, and then they again pulled back. And that is true for any team for that matter. There can be a time wherein it looks all disintegrated, but it is actually a very foundation of a very good team building up. All right, so this is storming basically. The third part comes the I would say the soothing effect basically, where we understand and we accept things, that the acceptance slowly creeps in. The acceptance towards the team, that okay, we are in a team. The acceptance towards the formally laid down rules and procedures, whatever there are, if any. Acceptance towards the roles, right? So if I have decided that okay, this person in basically, let's take the example back to that Red Cross. If there are 10 people, out of which say 7 are doctors or has experience in pharmaceutical or healthcare, so they know now that okay, so these will be the front line, the rest say 10 people will be on the back end helping them. Okay, so they you know that these are our role, and there will be a couple of people who will be good in oratory and who will be good at leading overall logistics or organizing things, so they will take that role. So this is how a team is built. So norming is a phase that even though maybe I know that I can do a certain part also, but I settle down with my part, and of course pitch in when it is required for that other part. I'll come. There are a lot many examples in that. Okay, so this is what the norming stage, and this stage is where basically this is the stage which forms the foundation. After the storming, you are now in a consolidation phase wherein you are ready to launch basically. All right. So you are ready to perform the duties. And because the next step is where most of the team, if you see, comes into play. Whenever you see a team, when we talk about teams like say Australian team or an Indian cricket team 2011, these teams, or a Manchester United or a assembly line, whatever. Why? If it would have failed, for example, if it would have not come to this particular stage, then nobody would have talked about it. I would have not given example, you would have not listened to that example or appreciated the example. My only thing is that this is the phase wherein the team comes to the forefront and do their job. So one is the planning and the other is the execution. So all the rest is basically the planning part of it, and the performing is the implementation part. All right. So these are the four stages of team building. All right, and this goes for everywhere. Now this is a picture I always wanted to share with everybody, whomsoever I have discussion on team building. Anybody? The house is open. You can just give me a name. All right. What this picture is, and I'll be really glad. Yeah, you can come on chat. You can unmute yourself, and then you can just speak up on the contemporary news and happenings. This is, yeah, yeah. Somebody was saying something.
I think we can just caption it as Fateh.
So this is a real life picture
Yeah, it's
of
victory.
it's a very big achievement by our soldiers. So basically, it is Operation Vijay, all right, 1999 Kargil. All right. So basically, why I wanted to bring about this picture, because yes, whenever we talk about team building, yeah, Shilpa, victory of India, Kargil war victory, Bijendra, correct, absolutely. So this is the final moment. It is not that that only these three soldiers achieved the victory. Basically, there were a whole lot of them. But this picture signifies the fact that even in a very difficult scenario, all right, and anybody who has a background or went in deep into it and studied, even though that time when Kargil happened, we were not even done our high schools, I remember. All right, so that was a very difficult period, and the acceptance came very much later. But the fact of the matter is that we can very well criticize the fact that why was there a uh, slippage from our soldiers, but it is not that way. It is sometimes trust which is missing, and we trust our neighbors, and then we get backstabbed. That is a norm. It has become a norm now. So the fact of the matter is that why I take this example as a perfect team building thing is that it is not only the soldiers who is working on a battalion, all right, or who is moving for a task, or that is of course there. The also the intelligence part of it, the background to it, the intelligence which came in from other countries at that point of time, that helped. Our soldiers grit of course was there, and how they captured the Tiger Hill basically, uh, with so much of logistic issues. It was not the number, maybe the number of the intruders were very less, but compared to the fact that it is all about vantage points. So they were in such a vantage point, and that is today what is happening in Galwan Valley or Ladakh is all due to vantage points. Okay, so people want to take vantage points so that, even because that creates a finger like a situation, or a narrow ridge wherein only few people can only go, soldiers can go. So no matter how big your army is, but that particular juncture, if you want to cross or you want to go through, there is somebody sitting in the vantage point and targeting you, right? So that becomes very critical, and this whole age group, and trust me, I have my friends, seniors, all right, who were in army, and we were told the legends of this whole Kargil thing. So it was a perfect example how it was thrown. It was thrown, they were thrown into a situation when they were not prepared basically. Almost India had the last war almost 2 to 3 decades ago. All right, there was no skirmish also. Yes, there were border tensions, but that was not resulting into any skirmish. But this was a full blown skirmish, full blown. So, and the average age of our martyrs were very less, let me tell you. Okay, so this was a tricky situation wherein we came out finally, but this was a classic case of how a young team, inexperienced team, even the commanding officers, they were not having experiences of real-time skirmish. That counts a lot, right? So that gave a raw example how a fresh team can come together. They see a task or a challenge which is way beyond their expectation, and then they try to overcome it. So all these stages would have come there also. It is not that they just come and this is bread and butter for the army to fight intruders in their own territory. Now it seems that it is a bread and butter, but it is not, right? So this is one example what I can quote in this. Of course, this the next example for team building. I mean, anybody would associate themselves with this picture. Now, I'll tell you one very unique thing. I mean, that is pretty unique to me because I tried to analyze that what went right and what went wrong, whatever it is in that particular campaign. Apart from it was a tribute to Tendulkar or the passion to give him the gift, or whether it's a Dhoni one-man show or individual brilliance of Yuvraj Singh, right? Nobody you can actually disregard. But there's one gentleman in this photograph, all right, whom you have not heard after that. After that World Cup, I have not heard, trust me. In IPL also, if overall I see, I have not heard. And that gentleman, if anybody wants to prompt me, I'm willing to take your guess.
Sachin.
No, I'm saying that there's one gentleman in this photograph whom we have not talked about anything. Trust me. No interviews, hardly any interview. Appreciation, forget it. All right.
Nehra?
Huh?
Ashish Nehra?
No, Ashish Nehra is a household name right now. After that also, and Dhoni exploring him after that for T20s and all. Okay, I'll just cut it short. It's Munaf Patel, trust me. If you see overall the campaign, he had a very silent role, all right? Or maybe that was maybe how he played it out, but it was a very silent role because he was so laid back, and you will find this kind of team members in and around, and you have to appreciate that fact. That is my whole point. Is he may seem that he did nothing, but you take out the stats, all right, take out the economy rate, take out wherever he got the breaks, okay, and you will understand that he was one of the unsung heroes of 2011 World Cup. And this is not what I am saying, this is what Gary Kirsten, their own coach, is saying. Okay, you can just find out in the net that he was one of the most, I mean, the unsung heroes of World Cup. The attitude which he threw, that okay, he doesn't care whether that, because that is very annoying. He comes and bowls, and then he's hit for a 4, and then he smiles and goes back. So that is a very annoying thing which you see, that why is this person smiling after getting hit for a 4 or a boundary or a 6, whatever it is. But the fact of the matter is he knew his job, and there will be team members, and ideally, I mean, you will be blessed to have such team members who will not hog the limelight, all right? And it is not that I'm saying I'm against some star performers. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not at all against a Sachin or a Yuvraj or a Sehwag or a Dhoni or a Gautam Gambhir. But the fact of the matter is there will be team members who will be supporting you and you do not know. And this is a very important point which I want to, and there are examples in the rest of the slides also, which will bring this particular fact in between, that you have to respect each and every team member. Respect each and every contradictory view for that matter, or even the view who is not giving any view, because you have to compel them to give their view, because it becomes very easy when you are having that discussion phase, when you come together as a team, that say 5 of them are not saying anything, but suddenly when the team is not has not performed or not going through a good phase, then those 5 people will come up and start criticizing. It may happen. I'm not saying that they will not. But the fact of the matter is, it is also the responsibility of the more vocal team members or the people who can go out and reach out to make other team members come up and say and express their views. It is, say, for example, as a teacher or an educationist, or for that matter, as a mental conditioning camp, all right, it is very important, it is very, very important that you have to break that ice with the students wherein they feel that they are part of the team. Because if we do not do that, then it is our failure at the end of the day. Yes, there will be participants or a group wherein who will not be coming up and opening up, but then the best way how we can do it is keep on probing so that they can come up and speak up or present their view even without speaking up. It can happen, right? So this is one of the team which must have gone through it, and everybody must have seen Mahendra Singh Dhoni's biopic. I mean that biopic, yes. And apart from that also, because we have seen it, I mean we have grown with it, so we understand that how difficult it was to form a team after the disaster of 2007 World Cup. So again, I mean that is a typical or a prime team building example what we can give. Now, this I want you people to, after logging off, you can just by sheer, I mean, curiosity, you can just go and search the net and understand. So, Manchester United and Real Madrid are one of the two major rivals. Right now, it is more of a Madrid and Barcelona. But over the years, if you see Manchester United and Real Madrid, because of the transfers and all, anybody who is in football, I mean, they will understand this more, relate to it more, basically. So there was a Munich plane crash. Some of the players of Manchester United were killed, all right. And it is not always the physical damage what a such a catastrophic event can do. It is also about the mental damage. So they were in shambles basically. 1958, if I'm not wrong, right? So from there they built a world-beating team in a sense. I mean, I'm talking about the leagues, all right. And one team which helped them was their own competitor, Real Madrid. And you can go there and you search yourself to find out more about it, all right. Basically it was a kind of a understanding that they will not poach any player. They'll support with the ground staff, they'll support with the support staff, because Manchester United then at that point of time was just down and out. So from there, from the scratch, they again built the whole team, and then the history is everybody to see. Okay, so there can be setbacks from where the team has to grow. So my only thing is that any team members, basically none of them are invincible, all right, or none of them are dispensable, basically, because every team member who leaves the team maybe, yes, it will take time to get other team members to perform at that level, but there will be if the whole conditioning of the team is correct, there will be gaps, but then that will be filled very quickly. Now, this slide is very, very close to my heart, because I made this different people out there. Okay, if anybody I mean, can just prompt, let's be more interactive the Saturday morning, and I'll not take more of 10-15 minutes. We'll wrap this up. Let's keep it short and precise and go away with a lighter head. So why don't we tell, I mean, anybody who can prompt me, I'm sure that people know who he is. So these are the things why I have put this, that we have a very big misconception that one performer or maybe a single person who is known for his individual brilliance doesn't need a team. All right. So Steve Jobs, for that matter, Michael Schumacher, 7-time world championship holder. I would be really happy if anybody prompt me the middle person who he is.
A common man, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks a lot. So he's a common man, and when I say a common man, it is not a man, or so don't get me wrong. It is, the picture signifies the whole working class who is going out there to earn the bread for their rest of the family. So there is always a team working at the background. That's what I was telling you right now. I am speaking. There is a team working out at the background. So it is not that that person who is earning is the only person he is earning just because of himself. It is also because of the team who is working day and night at the background. I mean, anybody who is into Formula One, we always appreciate the driver. Also appreciate the technology. All right, say for example, Ferrari or the car or the driver. But take a time out and understand what those 4 or 6 people do when the car stops for a pit stop, because that is the maybe sometimes the difference between winning and losing comes from that pit stop period. Because whenever you take a pit stop, it has to be so quick, and any negligence or any slackness actually will cost you very very badly. So in Michael Schumacher's word only, he used to give a lot of credit to his support staff and the pit stop people. I mean, apart from the technology, what goes into, we only see a face of Michael Schumacher in red, which is a synonym, basically. All right, it has become so much popular over the years that everybody, whenever he pictures a Formula One, right now it is Lewis Hamilton or Sebastian Vettel. That's a different thing. But Michael Schumacher still holds an iconic figure or iconic image in front of at least people from my generation. More, I mean, I would like that I would understand that you are also from, 2-3 years back from the same generation, right? So Michael Schumacher is that name, but the hard work and the teamwork which goes into that pit stop has to be noticed, and it has to be bring to your daily life. That may be such a small thing, but it is making such a big difference at the end of the day. Say for example 1986, when he was Steve Jobs, when he was thrown out of his own uh, Apple organization, he bought a company called which is now called Pixar, basically. When he bought that company, there was a whole building which he bought, and he restructured the whole building. So the building was a normal run of the mill building with say 7-8 floors and with cubicles, with stories, normal. He restructured, re-engineered the whole thing, and he left a atrium in between. Basically, the whole building is this, and in between there is what we see in a mall. Basically, there's an atrium in between a open space. So people think, even I also used to think that he was a very very single-minded, very very headstrong person going by his own individuality. All right, individual brilliance. That is what comes into the mind when we see Steve Jobs. But he also believed in a lot in teamwork. He left that space open of that atrium just because of the fact that he knew that when people come together, when they bind together as a team, then only the ideas flow. So it is not that kind of individual, or say for that Michael Schumacher did not think that what teamwork is. Alexa, for that matter, we only see a device, but the overall teamwork going behind every 24/7, the surveillance which is going around. I mean, there was a case in United States which was solved just because of Alexa. A husband and wife was having a fight, and then wife died accidentally, and the husband was almost about to be sentenced. But then the investigators also involved Alexa, the Echo device which was there in the room, because it actually catches if the Alexa Echo device is on in your room. Let me tell you, it is actually capturing your voice so as to, the AI is actually capturing your voice and building upon it so that it can work better in future. And that is why the first generation Echo and now the third generation, there's a hell lot of a difference. So the whole thing, they took out the recording and understood that it was normal fight, and it was accidental. It was not preemptive. All right, it was not something that the pre-planned murder done by the husband. So that's technology. But then there's a teamwork. There's a whole lot of a team working behind the scene. Okay, and the example which I gave, that we may underestimate basically a team member's contribution in say for a Munaf Patel, that's a very high thing. He's actually a player. He's not a support staff. But come to my next example. This is Charles Plum. Okay, he's a almost a war veteran. All right, he had a 75 almost more operations in Vietnam. He was more than 6 years prisoner of war, and when he came out, he left the forces, and then he became a motivational speaker. And his main crux still till now, you can who packed your chute. Basically, the whole life changing experience for him was the fact that he was a decorated fighter pilot. And anybody who is having some correlation with the defense personnel, there's an aura around a fighter pilot. I mean, whenever you see a fighter pilot coming down from his cockpit, there's an aura. People, I mean, just have that gratitude. Okay, I mean, that magnificent aura around them. And he was also one of those decorated fighter pilots. But then what happened during his days when he was a prisoner of war, a person came and he used to tell him all the stories how he did. I mean, he used to tell Charles that how he was doing this sortie or this thing. Charles was amazed that how this person knows so much about me. And that then he came to know that that was the person who packed his chute. So basically, any fighter pilot, that is such a small component that the chute which he's carrying when he's ejecting from the aircraft in the event, unforeseen events, the chute is packed by a foreman for that matter, or a wingman basically. And nobody knows about that person. Even the fighter pilot doesn't know that person by name, or he doesn't care basically. But that brought about that change in Charles Plum, and then he started the whole movement, all right, to giving actually due credit to people who may be working as a team and on a background, and who may be in that part of, say, storming, did not speak anything, maybe, because they thought that maybe I'll not be fitting into those vocal people around. I'm trying to correlate that, okay? But then their job also is very, very important. So you have to give due credit to the whole team member. And you can search a lot. And that is what the next slide is all about. Basically, every team member can help. If you see ants, basically, all right, I mean, every team, they work in the best teamwork ever. I mean, you can imagine basically, okay? And there's also a time wherein what I was saying, that say maybe when we start on a forming stage, that you know that you have certain qualities, and then in storming you understand that, okay, I mean, you are arguing basically what role you want to take. By the time you come into norming, you understand, okay, I'll settle down with this role, okay? Maybe I also have an expertise in this, but today I will settle down for this role, for this particular objective. That is the time when there may be a team member who may be needing your help, then other team members comes up and gives you support. And that is how 2011 Team India finals, I mean, nobody expected Dhoni to come around and pull off that thing, I mean, and achieve that thing. So basically, it is Sachin Sehwag going cheaply. I mean, that was a thing, that there is other team member always to fall. That is the essence of a good team gel together and functioning. And this is very important. There will be times wherein things will be tough, for especially at times like these. I mean, if you see being in a teaching job, there will be, I have my brother, my cousin, basically, he is also into, I mean, teaching, full-time teaching, professional. So there were a lot of thoughts that how this pandemic will come out, and how this lockdown will affect, and how it is going to already affecting a lot of people, all right, going forward. What is the reality? But again, as a team, if we see, these are the platforms wherein people should come together, all right, talk, discuss, share their views, and time will pass. See, every time it is not that you uh, get a good run. All right, there will be a time wherein you are facing bouncers, where there will be times when you have to just leave, like Rahul Dravid used to leave good deliveries. Time will come to hit a boundary. Time will come when the team again regroups and perform. But there will be time wherein the team has to lie down and accept few things and hang in there, so that they can consolidate later. And that is only true if the whole team, for that matter, is confident enough that I will or we will prevail at the end of the day. If that confidence is there or that sense of security is there, I'm sure that that team or that group of people coming together to perform a task will hang in there. So I'll tell you this example. I do a lot of trekkings basically with my colleagues, with my cousin and all. So there are times, and this goes to for anybody who has done a trek, and you should do actually. Small treks also is a very good thing. Not now, basically group trekkings are strict no right now because of social distancing. But the fact of the matter, it gives you that essence of always hanging in there, or a team building, because there will be time wherein you are about to say, you are about to give up. All right, and I have seen in front of me other teams basically when you are going for a peak, climbing a peak for that matter, and there are say three teams. Okay, we have seen teams going back from 100-meter distance also. There are times when there was an experience, if I remember, that we were about to quit almost say 100 meters, because there was a ridge and we had to cross it. So we were four friends basically, and we just thought that why don't we sit. There was a place, a small a ridge kind of before the ridge came, so we just stood there. It was freezing cold, but we just stood there and took deep breaths for 5-10 minutes maybe. Okay, and then we understood that no, we can still do it. Let's give it a try for say 10 more steps maybe, and then we'll quit. So that another 10 step actually propelled us to climb the peak. That was because we just gave ourselves some time to think in a perspective that okay, why we are here. Let's hang in there. Maybe I'm not climbing right now, but let's rest and regather our thoughts, regroup as a team, and then go ahead. And this may happen with lot many live examples wherein we actually as a team quit or disintegrate just when actually if we would have hanged in there, things would have become easier. And the best example what I can understand is the present pandemic. There are times when we get agitated because of this whole pandemic. We become agitated because of the fact of unknown. Still it is unknown, the vaccination or whatever it is, when it is going to come. Somebody is saying the second wave or the third wave or the fourth wave. So people are so uncertain, but these are a time which calls for hanging in there basically. And don't go by the country jackets. Actually, this is the best I could figure out from the net. So that is what it is.